So my LiveWire has a problem.
We're doing a flashback to the origins of this channel back when it was just a motorcycle vlog. And I'm on my Harley Davidson LiveWire that has a little bit of a problem. The screen here is doing something that I think is called delaminating. I've got some, well, the liquid inside has pooled and is kind of weird, and I'll show you some of those clips from outside of the bike.
So I want to show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to turn the bike on and let me just have you take a look at the screen. You can see how the liquid on there is delaminated a little bit. You see that circle right there? It should all look like that. This stuff that's forming the outside of the circle, that's the problem. And my concern is that this is going to fritz out on me in the middle of a ride. So we will resume the ride back to the Harley dealership to get this looked at for the first time.
So I've had this Harley Davidson LiveWire for about a year, a little over a year and a month. So a little over 13 months. And it is I bought it used. It is a 2020 Harley Davidson LiveWire, which is the only year that this bike was a Harley Davidson LiveWire. In 2021, it became the LiveWire 1 and has been ever since. The closest Harley Davidson dealership to me, which is where I purchased this motorcycle used because it had a Harley Davidson brand on it, and that's important from this dealership because the owner of this dealership does not sell anything that is not Harley Davidson branded, even if it's Harley Davidson made. The only motorcycles in his dealership, new or used, are Harleys. So the closest LiveWire dealership to me is in the mid-cities, and that's a lot of freeways and stuff like that, and I could make it out there, it's not a problem, but it's so much more convenient to go to the dealership I bought it from, especially since it's a Harley Davidson. When I purchased it used, I purchased an extended service plan, so I'm hoping the extended service plan covers this. I'm not the only person on LiveWire forums that has this defect, but I haven't seen anybody with a video on it, so hopefully this can give you some insight if you have this problem with your LiveWire screen. I am reasonably sure that I'm going to drop this motorcycle off and not see it for several days. Rachel's following me in her Fiat 500e. And we're going to drop the motorcycle off at the service center at the Harley dealership. And they'll take a look at it. They're backed up from the holiday weekend, so they're probably not going to look at it for a couple of days, although we did have an awful lot of rain this morning. So I was going to go this morning, but I waited until the roads were dried off. Just because I'm not likely to take a camera into the service department, so I'll update you after we drop the motorcycle off, and then then we'll just keep adding on to this video to see what the progress is, and by the end of it, you'll know how it all worked out. This turned into a really nice day for a motorcycle ride. It is not even quite 80 degrees. At the end of May, yesterday, it was about 98 degrees Fahrenheit. This morning, it was pouring down rain for hours and hours and hours, heavy wind, hail occasionally. And then look at this. This is Texas weather, making us forget that it sometimes tries to kill us.
Well, the bike is dropped off at the Harley Davidson dealership behind me. It's Fort Worth Harley Davidson. Rachel's right there. And I'm going to be a passenger as we drive home. It is, let me just do a quick check. It is Tuesday, May 28th, 2024, 1:41 p.m. The bike is dropped off. We'll see how long it takes for this issue to be properly diagnosed and repaired, and we have the bike back. It is now Thursday, June 13th. It has been a little over 2 weeks, if my math is correct, 16 calendar days since we dropped the motorcycle off at the Harley shop. And there's a couple of weekends in there. I don't think they do any work on Sundays, so knock a couple of days off of that. It's a little bit of a circuitous story. I will get more of the information when we go to pick up the motorcycle and tell you about it on my ride home.
All right, we are picking the bike up from Fort Worth Harley Davidson. What I said was that the screen had delaminated, and they didn't notate that it was anything different, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. The screen is brand new. It looks great. My speedometer number is much larger. I think that's just a setting on the display that I haven't changed. Here's what happened. The motorcycle is out of its factory warranty because it was a 2020 model, and I bought it in 2023. So the warranty was already gone, but so I bought an extended service plan, what the Harley shop calls an ESP. And the ESP covered the screen. So the first thing that they had to do was get that approved from the extended service plan, which they did. But then Harley Davidson canceled it. They canceled the order because this is a restricted part. So the deal is the Harley Davidson LiveWire was made in 2020, and for the 2020 model year, and I don't think they started selling them until 2021, but for the 2020 model year, at least they didn't sell them around these parts that time. That's the only year that this motorcycle was a Harley Davidson. In 2021, the parent company spun the electric bikes off into the LiveWire brand, and this bike became known as the LiveWire 1. So this screen has to have the Harley badge on it, since it is a Harley Davidson bike. So it's a special order part and was restricted. So they had to go through a different approval process to get the manufacturer to approve sending a new screen. So that took a little bit of extra time. So they went ahead and they got the part. Once the part arrived, then they tried to, there was a software update. Now the screen was somewhere around $1,100 for the part, $1,100 and change according to the thing. According to the service sheet that I got. Then there was a software update, and that software update was supposed to be like another $42. So they needed to get the extended service plan to approve that as well. They got that approved, and then they went ahead to try to do the install. Now, since this bike has been a non-Harley Davidson brand, it's been a LiveWire brand since 2021. In this particular dealership, the owner will only sell bikes that have a Harley Davidson badge on them. It doesn't matter if Harley makes them or not. He won't sell it if it doesn't say it's a Harley. So he did not take a LiveWire point like some other dealerships around here did. And so he's only got like one tech that can work on these bikes that only really existed for that 1 year for his shop. So the tech was waiting until everything was lined up, and they don't work on these very often, and they'd never done a screen replacement at this store, so they did not know that taking the screen off destroyed 2 of the mounting brackets. So they're basically like one-time use mounting brackets, so they had to order those as well. I would have had the motorcycle a little less than a week ago if it hadn't have been for those mounting brackets, but they had to reorder those parts. They didn't come in until Monday, and the next day my service advisor went on vacation. And I think my paperwork may have gotten lost. They did do a full detail on the motorcycle, so it is looking cleaner and shinier and more new than it has since the day I brought it home. The service tech, I'm going to assume, took it out for a test ride to make sure that everything was okay, because the trip had 15.4 miles on it on the new screen, and it was in sport mode. So he rode around for 15 miles in sport mode and had some fun on my bike. I don't fault him for that. He had to check stuff out. It's okay, and the bike can do it. The problem is, even though they gave me a nice detail and everything, they didn't plug the bike back in. And so I left home back on the 28th of May with a full charge. I don't recall exactly what the motorcycle's state of charge was when I dropped it off, but it probably wouldn't have been less than about 75%. As we're driving in, I checked my Harley app, and it said that the bike had 44% state of charge with 44 miles of range. And that comes from, sitting on, while it's being worked on, and then a 15-mile test ride just to make sure that everything worked. Which is fine. All of that is fine. I kind of wish they would have plugged it in last night. And sitting on the bike, it went down to 43 miles. I've got 24 miles or so to get home. So I'm thinking I can make it just fine. So that's my plan. I'm going to be watching my range and all of that stuff. But the screen is back. I feel more comfortable. The screen is not messed up anymore. So I feel better about that. Unlike when I had a similar problem back on my Indian Scout many years ago. And when they replaced that instrument panel, it lost the odometer reading because it was, an old school odometer. It was LCD, but it had no memory. This remembers how many miles were on the bike. So my odometer is accurate, even with the new screen. So that is something different on this motorcycle than it was on my 2016 Scout 60. Rachel had to get home for a online Zoom meeting. So while I was gearing up, I said, you just go ahead and go home. I've got enough range. And there she is in the Tesla right in front of us. I caught up. I was thinking of running an errand after I picked up the bike, but given the state of charge, I'm just going to go home. And that'll be that. So stay tuned for more LiveWire adventures. I'm going to put one up. I'm going to do my 100 to 0 lap test, mixed driving test. I'm going to do that on this bike here in a few weeks and give you an accurate range measurement for a Harley Davidson LiveWire. You can pick these up pretty cheap now. When these things came out, they were $30,000 motorcycles, and you can get them for right around half that now, and they're super fun to ride. I do recommend, though, getting the extended service plan. That the screen would have been $1,100, the software update about another $40, the brackets, I didn't remember what the cost was, then plus the labor. I think the whole thing was about $1,600, but it was all on the extended service plan, so all I had to pay was my $50 deductible. So that was it. That was all I had to do, and I think that might be all the questions that you might want. And I'm going to sign off. Look for that LiveWire range video coming up, plus all other range videos and road trips and other things about our EVs on the channel. Subscribe for that content. Give us a like if you like the video, and put down any of your LiveWire stories in the comments. Thanks for watching, y'all. Bye.